Hello everybody, and welcome back to Monster Hunter D&D. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this video is covering the current Monster Hunter D&D game I'm in. You can watch that video here on my channel if you haven't. For those who don't know, D&D is the most popular tabletop RPG game, and Monster Hunter is a game series created by Capcom. In my last episode, I covered the first 2 sessions of the campaign, and just like that video, I will do my best to explain everything in case you know nothing about D&D and/or Monster Hunter. The campaign takes place in the New World, a continent introduced in Monster Hunter World. Our party wakes up and heads to the canteen for breakfast. With the mighty Juan with us, we are feeling really confident in our abilities. As we are eating breakfast, we receive our next mission. A researcher hands a piece of paper to Farley and asks the party if they would embark on a quest for the guild. The quest had us go slay Zamtrios. Zamtrios is a giant land shark that lives in cold climates and covers itself in snow and ice to use as armor. It can also puff itself up like a balloon to increase its size, and by doing so, they can charge up a breath attack. Basically, they are someone's shark persona with an inflation fetish. As we are finishing up eating our breakfast, Isaiah says he's going to stay behind with Juan to catch up with him. The player playing Isaiah actually couldn't make it to this session. Also, Faylene won't either because the player playing Faylene has the internet connection of a potato. Juan decides to stay behind with Isaiah so we can catch up and explore Astera, the town we're in, and get to know the people. Upon hearing one of our party members can't go on the hunt with us, 2 hunters come over and offer up their assistance. "Hello, you look like you could use a few extra hands. My name is Valera," one of them says. "It's a pleasure to meet you too. I'm Kolilin," Kolilin says. So, we actually have 2 other players in this campaign, and they were not able to make it to the first 2 sessions, so these are their characters. We all finish eating our food and head out to the forge before heading out. In Monster Hunter, you were able to use monster parts to make new weapons and armor, so that this translates into D&D to using monster parts to upgrade our gear. After we all upgrade our gear, we head out on our hunt. Instead of going to the forest this time, we end up heading to an ice area for this hunt. As we begin our investigation to try and find this monster, we hear 2 different monster cries come from 2 different areas. We decide to follow where one of the cries was from, and we find tracks and follow those. As we are following the tracks, we see a pool of water bubbling for some reason. Eldir decides to go and investigate. He fails a dexterity check and 6 leeches jump out of the water and burrow into his flesh. Yeah, I have no idea what this encounter is. After we all get concerned, but Elder assures us he's fine, we continue and eventually find the Zamtrios. Someone fails their stealth check and alerts the Zamtrios. We are told to roll initiative as combat begins. I rolled low on my initiative, so I moved last, but upon my turn I used Wild Shape for the first time and became a Bulldrome, the monster we fought in the last episode. We all spent some time beating up the land shark and managed to easily take its hits. At one point in the fight, however, the Zamtrios begins to inflate itself. Then, with the combination of our new monk friend, Valeria, hitting it with a critical fury of blows, and Farley using his sword, we managed to force it to deflate in only 2 turns. This is really interesting because when inflated, the Zamtrios has resistance to bludgeoning damage. Afterwards, the Zamtrios retreats and runs to a new area. I Wild Shape, and we all spend some time to heal ourselves. As we are healing ourselves, we hear 2 more loud roars. Both come from the same area, and we go to investigate. We watch as the Zamtrios, now with more runes, is running away from a Kezu. Kezu is one of the most unsettling monsters in the series. They live in caves and only go out at night to hunt typically. They have a massive mouth and a long stretching neck that reminds one of a leech. They have a large body with 2 thick legs to support them. They have 2 massive wings which they use to fly, as a short stubby tail that can stretch and use as a suction cup so they can hang from the cave ceilings, as they use their stretchy neck to grab unsuspecting prey. They can also shoot globs of lightning at players and electrocute the area around them. On top of all this, however, the most unsettling part is their color. You see, in the games, they will always look like they have white fur, but canonically, they are translucent. They are a fat, leech-like head monster that can fly, breathe lightning, and are transparent. Now you know why they are so unsettling. Our party takes one look at the Kezu and decides to nope out of there as fast as possible. We head back out of the area where we encounter the Zamtrios, wounded, but not down for the count yet. And let me tell you, it put up one hell of a final fight. I think it might have done more damage to the party during this fight than during the previous one. After we kill it and wrap up the quest, we head back to Astera. At this point, Elder is not looking good. He is tired and exhausted, as well as the color of his scales being drained. We have an older Wyverian look at him, and she offers him a drink. After drinking it, he vomits up the 6 leeches that burrowed into him. Our entire party then stomps them to death. Once again, I have no idea what this is about. I don't know if this is a D&D thing or a Monster Hunter thing. I don't even know what the ramifications about this are. Before we have time for relaxation, however, the commander comes to us and asks the party for a favor. The guild has gotten reports about strange sightings of monsters that have strange activity in different areas. The group decides to split up and go on the expeditions to these areas to see what is going on. Farley heads to the coast by himself, while Helectria and Eldir head back to the frozen area. Valeria heads to the Rotten Vale, an area in the New World that is a monster graveyard full of dead decaying elder dragons. The players playing Cryptodira and Colleen had to leave mid-session, so those two decide not to go. As Farley walks down the coast, he notices a few ships off in the distance. The only ships that should be in the area are either supply ships or ships bringing new recruits to the New World, neither of which should be in the area at this moment. As he is watching these ships, wondering what they are doing there, a massive shape flies out of the forest and over his head. A sonic boom follows as the creature heads towards the ships. Farley is awestruck as a Velstrax is in front of him, attempting to take down the ships. Harpoons shoot out of the ships and bind the Elder Dragon down as a strange, brain-looking creature flies up and lands on its back. The strange creature then appears to get absorbed into the Elder Dragon's back. The Elder Dragon then seems to calm down and move with the ships as they sail away, almost as if it is being controlled by the creature. Farley hurries back to Astera to tell everyone exactly what he saw. Meanwhile, Helectria and Eldir watch as an Onkelos emerges out of the ice. The Elder Dragon had its back to them and doesn't notice the two. They witness the same brain-like creature that Farley saw fly down to the Onkelos' back and gets absorbed. The Onkelos lets out a scream of pain before subsiding. The two watch as a few cloaked figures walk up to the monster and then leave as they are leading it away. The Elder Dragon just follows them. No command or anything else. Helectria and Elder head back to Astera, having completed the expedition. As this is happening, Valeria is following a trail of a monster. She ends up in what appears to be a mountain of corpses. A strange yellow fog seems to cover the mound and spreads out in the surrounding area. Another one of the brain monsters shows up and heads to the top of the mound. As it approaches, the yellow fog moves towards the flying brain, and Valeria watches as the brain appears to decay quickly, shrinking up and falling to the ground. All the yellow fog then seems to head for the top of the mound and enter what appears to be a corpse laying at the top. The said corpse then begins to get up. Valeria looks closer and sees some kind of creature that appears to be wearing some kind of makeshift suit out of decaying flesh. The yellow fog appears to be leaking out of the creature inside the corpse suit. Valeria can do nothing but watch as a Valhazic walks away from its nest. Valhazic is yet again another Elder Dragon, one that feeds off of decaying corpses of the Rotten Vale. It has a symbiotic relationship with a flesh-eating fungus microbe that is found throughout the Vale. It gets to use the fungus as a self-defense weapon and a way to hunt and instantly digest any food it comes across. In return, the fungus gets a warm, safe place to gestate, as well as an intelligent species to take it towards more food. The microbe is capable of passing through the Valhavic's body freely, entering its body to gestate and bring nutrients to the Elder Dragon. Somehow, despite this, it is the easiest of all the Elder Dragons in Monster Hunter World. It was so easy, it had to receive a more powerful version in the Iceborne DLC. Valeria heads back to Astera after the Valhazic leaves, wondering what she just witnessed. We'll spend some time telling each other, as well as the captain, what we just saw. So, these brain creatures are controlling the Elder Dragons? Why? Asked Farley. It probably has something to do with the cloaked strangers we saw, Elder replies. I don't like the sound of this, inputs Valera. We want you to head out on another expedition, the captain says. We have received a distress call from a city in the north. We need someone to see what is happening and help out in any way they can. Our group agrees and heads north to the city, taking Juan with us this time. Seeing how dire the situation is, he joins us for this in case something bad happens. When we arrive, there is not much left. We don't find a city. We find a war zone. Houses and buildings are destroyed and reduced to rubble. Fire burns anything flammable, and a few things that aren't. I'll fly up and see if I can find anything that can tell us what happened here, Farley says. Farley flies up with his wings. From the sky, he sees the fire and rubble extend for a while. He then witnesses as a giant bronchosaurus-like mass made out of the rubble emerges from the ground. He looks closer and sees a tall Ka on top of the mass, with silk strings that it uses to control the makeshift mecha. Farley then proceeds to lose his mind and fly back down to the group in a panic. We aren't able to get any info out of Farley about what he saw, but we are eventually able to calm him down. We then hear a loud noise similar to a storm coming from the center of town. We find ourselves at the bottom of a set of stairs leading to a shrine at the top. We can hear strange chanting from the top, and we can see a few of the brain creatures flying around. We decide to stealth our way up. We see several cloaked individuals in a circle around an Amatsu. Amatsu is, yet again, another Elder Dragon. It looks like a flying serpent that uses its storm powers to keep it afloat. It never lands, and its limbs have become vestigial at this point. The Amatsu is remaining calm and not attacking any of the cloaked individuals. We are noticed, however, because someone rolled low on their stealth check, and we all witness as the Amatsu turns around and looks at the group. We all collectively decide to run away. As we run, the Amatsu uses its storm power to cause a strong gust that attempts to pull us back into the shrine. The gust manages to catch Juan, who is sucked into the Amatsu's mouth and bitten in half, killing him instantly. Juan, no! Shouts Farley. He wanted to go back for him. Maybe he could do something to save him, he thought. But deep down in the back of his mind, he knew Juan was gone. And he knew that if he went back, the same would happen to him. So Farley just ran. He ran with the rest of the group. We eventually make it to a safe place where we rest before heading to Astera. No one said anything. We were just in shock that the legendary Juan was dead. He was so powerful and fell so easily. What kind of power could have done this? What were those brain things, and who are the people controlling them? Why would they attack a city? What is going on? These are all things going through all of our minds. But on top of them all, we thought to ourselves, who was going to tell Isaias? We make it to Astera and find Isaias waiting for us at the gate. He has a smile on his face and looked so cheerful. His smile left as he saw us without Juan. Farley decided to bite the bullet and tell him. Isaias fell to his knees crying. He lost his cousin, his family. He tried to use the time reverse card to bring Juan back, Despite its power, it does nothing. We eventually went back for his body once it was safe. Everyone in the party helped bring him into Astera. As our DM described, coffin dance style. No joke, this is canon. Aroace put Juan in a small boat at the ocean and gave him a Viking funeral. All of Astera gathered at the canteen that night. We all gathered to mourn. On top of that, so many people were worried. If the mighty, legendary Juan could fall to our foes so easily, what's stopping everyone else? Aroace was the first to leave. He grabbed a bottle of liquor he nabbed from the canteen. He took it down to the dock so that he could be closer to Juan. He chugged a bit of the alcohol before sitting down. "It's my fault," he says to himself. "I'm the one who drew the card from the deck and drug him out here. I'm the one that stayed behind on the investigation to work at the canteen instead of going with him. I might have been able to save him if I was there. I brought him here, and I didn't do anything to save him." Aroace lays down on his back. He begins to drink the rest of the alcohol. Farley watches this all from afar. He left shortly after Aroace. He has perched himself up on a post and sees the pain Aroace is in. "Why didn't I go back to save him?" he asks himself. "Damn it! I made a promise to never let anyone else die on my watch." A tear falls from his face. "This is my fault. It should have been me. I can't let this happen again," he says. "You hear me, Aroace? I won't let this happen ever again. We will avenge Juan, and I will protect everyone," he shouts. Aroace doesn't hear him. He's too far away and busy drinking to notice. Meanwhile, Captain Fuzzyboots is sitting on there in Vahalectria's bed, looking at the window at the stars. They didn't go to the canteen with everyone. They stayed behind. Vahalectria walks in through the door. "Meow?" they ask. "Yeah, I'm back," Vahalectria replies. "Meow?" "No, Aroace and Farley left earlier," he answers. He walks over to the bed and climbs up with Captain Fuzzyboots. He looks out the window with them, at the stars. "Meow?" they ask while looking up at Vahalectria. "What do you mean?" Vahalectria asks. "Meow," they explain. "Not really. Why would I care about Juan?" he answers and asks. "Meow?" they ask. "No, I didn't want him to die. I don't want anyone to die," he replies. "Meow?" they ask again. Vahalectria looks away from the window and down at Captain Fuzzyboots. "What do you mean by that? Of course I would care if you died. You mean everything to me. It's just you and me. It always has been. We've always had each other, and if you died, I don't know what I would do," he says. The two go back to looking at the stars. "We should memorize these stars. They are different from the ones back in the old world," Vahalectria says. Captain Fuzzyboots looks at the stars for a few seconds before looking down. "Wow," they say. "Yeah," Vahalectria says. "I thought Juan was a nice guy too." Thank you all for watching, and if you have any questions about this campaign, please leave them down below and let me know what you think. This is where the session ended and where the episode ends. Don't forget to check out my Twitch, and if you're interested in watching me stream. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day. Goodbye.